on the road. We are doing another episode here, and we've got a special guest. I asked him if he wanted to go with here, so he volunteered himself, and now I told him he's going to be on the spotlight. So we got one of our fleet managers, Kyle. He runs our local fleet and our flatbed over the road fleet, so working double duty. Right now we are running down Route 20 in Portage, Indiana, and we are going to go meet one of our drivers, John, and he is coming to our yard with a control housing building. We're going to meet him at this overpass, and we're going to follow him back to our yard. We're storing some buildings in our yard over the Thanksgiving weekend, which is this Thursday. So they're going to stay at our yard. All across the country, each state has their own restrictions for what you're allowed to travel for Thanksgiving. Most states for oversized travel close Wednesday at about noon before Thanksgiving, completely shut down for Thanksgiving, and then back open the following day. Some states don't open back up until the following Monday in this case. So our permit service sends us a list of every single state in America, and they show all their restrictions, so we're able to plan accordingly. But these buildings are obviously oversized, so they're coming to our yard. They're going to stay there. They're safe. They're under cameras, everything. So they'll be in our yard for several days, and then they're going to be leaving back out after the holiday and then go back down to Texas. You want to tell everybody what you do, Kyle?
Yeah, so I mean, managing the local fleet and the TUG fleet, our steel fleet, is really two totally different animals. If you look at the local fleet, is really servicing the Chicago area and the surrounding Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio lines, and then running basically any type of commodity, whether that's be supersized buildings all the way down to steel freight, or even your partials coming out of Solaire. So I mean, we got a huge plethora of different varieties of freight that we're hauling with them.
Yeah, we started that fleet. We've been running flatbeds and stuff for a while, but Kyle's got full focus to it. These deadhead numbers are in the single digits, so they're very, very good. These guys are happy. So if you are anybody in America, really, we're hired, but we focus really on the Midwest region. We're hiring. That fleet's growing. We are right behind him. So we caught up to him. I said on the way over here that he had a high pull and a chase car. I misspoke. He just has a high pull. His width does not require a chase car. Some of these modulars that we move are 16 foot and 16 foot 9 wide, and they do. This one's 13, so this is one of the smaller ones. But you see, one thing to really notice about this, and if you can zoom in, Elijah, these buildings are shipped. See how it's got a peak? And what drivers term that is the high side. So these buildings are peaked. So there's actually another driver who's probably about 20 miles, I would say, behind us. And it's the other half of this building. So where that building's peaked on the right-hand side, the other driver's buildings peaked on the left-hand side, and both these buildings will sit on the ground, and they will pair to each other. And you see on the right, that's all temp siding, so they call that a temp siding, and that will come off on both sides, and then they'll pair the buildings together, and it's actually double the size. But they ship them in halves because of the fact of you just can't get something down the road if it's 26 foot wide. So you see he stopped at this red light, but the escort's up there. You can see him zoomed in. He's got the high pull off his van. We passed him. I'm sure we got some footage. The high pull stays in front of him. Watches his high pull. He's going to take off the side of the road here any second. Make sure he always stays in front of the truck. And with this building having a high side like that, so you got to be mindful, because some loads in your height, it might just be like a lifting lug on the top of it in the middle, or you could be completely flat. But this, for instance, is tall on the passenger side, so he has to be way more mindful, because when he's running down a road like this, the trees are always going to be on your right hand side, and his tallest point's always on his right hand side. The other thing is bridges are typically arched. They have an arch to it, and the lowest point is typically on the right hand side. The tallest point is typically in the middle. So it's always something that you have to watch for. So he's when your tall, let me just restate that. I should cut that out. So when your tallest point is on your passenger side, it's a little bit more tricky to get down the road than if your tallest point was on your driver's side. And the other point that makes it difficult is it's tougher to see. It's tougher to see the passenger side than to see the driver's side by just looking at your wheel like that. So that high pole there is set up 6 inches taller than his tallest point, and that is standard everywhere you go. So anywhere in America, that high pole needs to be set 6 inches taller. So Kyle's our math guy. What's 6 inches taller than 15.7?
6 inches more than 15.7 is 16.1.
16.1. You heard it here first. If he's wrong, make sure you let him know.
Put it in the comments below.
Yeah. Make sure you let him know. Now, so that high pole set at 16.1, 6 inches above the tallest point of the load, and if he were to hit anything going down the road, you know, he would feel it, see it, hear it, and then he would be far enough in front of the driver to say, hey, slow down. Or the driver might be able to see it also. Slow down, pull off to the side of the road. We got an issue. We need to wait for traffic to die down so you can come around this tree branch. There's so many different scenarios, but they are your first line of defense to make sure that, you know, everything we do gets there safely and without any damage. And we are here. So this building will be put in the back of our yard, safely in a corner. It'll be stored there until after Thanksgiving. So that is another episode. So everybody out there watching, you guys all have a good Thanksgiving. Be safe out there, and we will see you guys next week.